Welcome to The Point. I am your host, Eric Mitchell. It is October 16th. Yes, I look every time I tell you guys that because I forget from the time that I look before we go on air to now. It is Friday, so thank God it's Friday. Whatever you need to do, please don't be one of those people who's going to put out one of those memes that tells me I shouldn't enjoy the weekend, because I do. I wish I could say it was going to be a great weekend, but the NFL is going to make it confusing to go with college football. We got a lot to get with you, but it's Friday, and you guys see this mug all the time. So let's bring my co-host on, the lovely Miss Jordan. Let me make sure I get the right. Oh, that's not Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Jordan. Look, we found Jordan. Hey.
We found me. I'm here.
We're all here. The gang's all here. So it's Friday. You have a good week?
I did. I had a good week.
That's good.
I'm a little glitchy right now. I don't know why, but we'll figure that out.
It makes you robotic like.
It is. It's Halloween in New York. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do, what we're going to be. It's pouring right now, so no one knows what the heck to do at the moment. They're like, oh, what's the weather? It was only 70 like a week ago. Now it's pouring, and what do we wear? I don't know. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. I think like every single industry has just set off SOS fires between the sports industry, the entertainment industry. We don't even need to get into politics right now. That's in its own element. But, I sympathize with you over what day it is, what the date is, because I don't know what day, what month, what week it is, but I can certainly tell you what year it is, which I think I say every week. Just to all my friends listening, you're welcome.
Oh, yeah, we all know it's the longest decade of our life, which is only a year, but it's a decade.
A decade.
And you're right, you kind of touched on everything in the news, but we can't start this off without recapping what happened last night. No, we're not talking about baseball where, again, the Braves won, making it the Dodgers on the brink of not, again, being everybody's America's sweetheart, but not making it to the World Series and getting beat by a Braves team that I just didn't see coming. No, we're talking about the two town halls. One featuring President Trump, right there in D.C. with the lovely Samantha Guthrie, one of my favorite journalists that's out there. She's amazing. I love the way that she asks tough questions, and it's funny to watch people squirm. Some people handle her questions very well, and others, well, they answer them like last night. And then our friends at ABC had Vice President Biden. And yes, Trump supporters, we do use the title Vice President because he held it for 8 years. Yes. So he does rate the title. You don't lose it. Jordan, and I find that funny. Anytime I'm online and I see something streaming, whether it be President Obama, President Trump, Vice President Gore, Vice President Biden, I don't see the other one, Cheney. I don't know where Cheney's at. And Dan
Quayle
seems,
I don't know.
I don't know. Where did Cheney go? Cheney's like, I'm out of here. I did my time. But I see him on there, and I always see folks from the right always like attack. Don't call them president. Don't call him vice president. I'm like, yeah, you should. That's a title they earned. Well, I don't agree with they were bad. Okay.
Okay.
You do you.
Okay, monster.
Fake news. Okay. I mean, but what's your feelings on this? I went off on a rant on Facebook last night because I keep seeing. I do. I do that quite often. I love doing it. But my question is this for you. There is this great, I've seen it for 4 years. Everybody attacks the media, whether it be our friends at Fox, friends at CNN, any one of those big networks that we have mad love for. We have talented folks that do what we do for a living, so we totally feel their pain. They are attacked in, just number one, by Trump and his cronies. It's fake news. And now his followers are the same way. It's fake news. They're bad journalists. They don't. Now, let me ask you this, and just off the cuff, you answer this, yes or no. Do you think they're saying it's fake news because they just don't agree with it? They're like, nope, it's fake. Or the news is actually fake. I have yet to find a story that is legitimately fake. I instead find them as like,
I can't
no.
answer that question almost seriously, because I really think it's just because they disagree with it. Yeah. Just like, no, you're wrong. Why are you wrong? I don't like it. You're wrong. Like, okay, do you have evidence? No, I get this feeling. I don't like it. You're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, how is that?
Yeah, but that's how
is it even a valid reason? I feel like fake news is thrown around so much as a term that makes absolutely no sense. I could be like, here is a pile of pudding. They're like, no, you're wrong.
No, you're wrong.
I made it with pudding mix. No, you're wrong. It's just like you can say the most obvious thing. Like, it just on both sides, I feel sometimes it cracks me up. I'm like, do you want to be right or do you want to be intelligent? Like, I never know.
I don't think anybody really knows when it comes to that because they're just so taken back, and that's what cracks me up. We're doing a cool box.
I like it. I feel like I could just move you. Oh, right.
That's what we're doing. This is how the show's become, folks. We just goof off.
Exactly.
But you're right.
Fridays are our fun day. So
I'm actually just stealing this complete idea from a TV show I watch, and who also does this. So you're right, Trevor Noah, mad shout out, bro. Love that I watch your show so often. I'm like, you know what? I really like the way he does that. The guest can talk and I can still be here. So it's not weird when I'm like in the background going,
like we're hanging out, Eric.
Yeah,
I'm holding you.
Eric's in your hand. Yeah, you're lucky. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know. Some people would be like, I don't know if that's good. Eric.
We bring the media to you. We hold it gently and we just throw it at your face. And then you say, oh, fake news.
Oh my goodness.
You people?
And it's funny, we talk about fake news because it's such a big story, but go back to last night's town hall. It was night and day. And I'm going to start, and you're right, all the people who complain that I bash on Trump all the time. I'm here again. No, you didn't miss me. And as a reminder, November 3rd is right around the corner. Most states have either mailed out their ballots or you have your ballots and you can already vote. Make sure you're doing that. If you have any questions, make sure you're DMing our team here. To the point, we will gladly point you in the right direction, give you the links to the sites that can help you. And my second pitch for the day, like I do every day, is remember, there's not just two candidates to vote for. There's a lot of great third-party candidates that you can still vote for. So if you're like, I have to pick the lesser of two evils, you actually don't. You live in a country where even if you can't see them on your ballot, you can write them in. It's allowed. So instead of wasting your vote on Jesus, no disrespect to Jesus, but there's no way Jesus can take office because you either believe he already has it or whatever you believe. But there are people like Brock Pierce running for president that have an amazing background. They actually understand what's going on and they don't have all the controversy and they're not weird old dudes. Because let's face it, the two guys we're voting for are two creepy old dudes. I mean, let's just be real. But to stay on point and get to the point, when we talk about last night's town hall, Trump was a hot mess. Completely going off on Samantha. Just always
Trump was just normal?
Yeah, he was normal. But he was abnormal. I believe the medicine he's on has made him extra crazy, like an extra dose of crazy. Because he said some interesting things last night. So everybody, I don't know if you've been tracking crazy things President Trump says because they're hard to follow the bouncing ball. He said earlier this week, he believes the QAnon people when they say that President Obama had SEAL Team 6 killed and killed the body double of Osama bin Laden. And bin Laden is alive on some island, apparently with Christopher Biggie Wallace and Tupac. Maybe John Denver's there too, with Elvis and Michael.
Epstein? I feel like Epstein must be hiding out there.
Everybody's with them. Everybody's on this.
Out there.
Everybody's on Dead Guy Island. Dead Guy Island's really popular. Fox is actually going to do a series on it. Not Fox News, but Fox TV. It'll be great. Family Guy will precede it, of course, and American Dad will be right before. And catch The Simpsons at 8. It's what I feel like where he's going. But anyways, Robert O'Neill, who is a very staunch Republican, but also known as the trigger man from the bin Laden raid, who personally gave that downright scumbag, and I'm saying this knowing that you're in New York and can look out your window and see where two buildings used to stand. Yes. He gave that SOB lead poisoning that he deserved. Triple tap, baby. He went down. Robert O'Neill goes on Twitter and goes, nope, I was there. I can tell you, it wasn't his body double. I killed him. And I'm like, go, brother. I'm not a fan of yours. You're kind of a douche canoe with your, I'm not going to wear a mask on a plane. It's like, and making fun. Anyways. But the president defended that. Well, I retweet a lot of things. And Samantha goes, but you're not like Uncle Remus retweeting things like the crazy uncle. Yeah. You're the president of the United States. You just can't be like, I like that. He genuinely believes the conspiracy things. And he didn't like the line of questioning because, come on, folks, he was asked at the debate 2 weeks ago, do you support white supremacy? And he didn't really say no. He didn't say anything until 3 days later when he tested positive for COVID, which I still believe he has. When he tested positive for COVID, they put the statement out, kind of bubblied it inside there of, oh, the president doesn't support white supremacy. Oh, well, God bless him for not supporting white supremacy. I don't know why it took 3 days. Thanks. I mean, he defended it for 2 days.
Thanks, guys.
And before we go to break, I'll cover Biden real fast. Biden was amazing. Actually got up there. I mean, he's kind of boring, but I mean, I think anybody running for president, except for Barack Obama, was exciting because the way he talked. Everybody just loved, I can't even do a Barack voice. I can do a Trump voice pretty well now. And I can't even make fun of Biden's voice.
Everyone has a Trump voice. Everyone has like a...
China. Samantha and fake news. You guys always attack me. You give, it's crap. You give Joe in his basement. You got Lester Holt. I'm like, dude, does everything have a sentence that stops? Is everything a hard stop with every single thing Trump says?
Hard stop. That's how we do it in not New York, but in
But he doesn't
head.
like New York anymore. He left. He went to Florida with the rest of the crazy people.
Yeah.
They're all down there with the, oh my
Near
goodness.
Dead Island. Near Dead Man's Island.
The Dead Man Island, right off the coast. They're like, you're all here. We're here. Tupac's here. Yeah. I'm like, okay, is anybody else there that we actually, I mean, that'd be cool. Can Pac and Biggie make another CD? Because that'd be great. We've been waiting for that compilation.
We miss it so much.
We do. It is funny that we are talking about, but Biden did good. In fact, Biden did so well, he stayed over an hour after the lights went off to answer questions from his constituents. I think that's that makes you down to earth. Whether he did it for PR or not, hey, taking the time to do that, and I know people are making a big deal because Camilla had to come off they have her not on campaign right now due to, I believe, 1 or 2 positive tests of people who flew on the plane, which is good to see them being so open about it.
Yeah.
Except for the other people who are like, but it was funny. Did you see Chris Christie said last night?
I was just going to say Chris Christie.
Wear a mask. You should wear a mask.
All of a sudden, like, Donald Trump says he admits he has COVID, and then all the other Republicans like, yes, so I had it. I had it too. like, can we say it now?
Is it okay?
I mean, he said it. He said it first. I didn't say it first. He said it first. It's okay. I mean, it's a real thing, guys. I know I have a lot of people who I work with at times who are Republicans and who are like, oh, this COVID thing, it's not that bad. I was fine for 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, it's about all the people that weren't fine. They're like, oh, well, the flu, people died from the flu too. And I'm like, yeah, the reason why we're not comparing the two right now is that the flu is something we've been studying for years and years and years. This is something brand new that we couldn't stop it before it started, that people don't know how it's going to change. That's what's happening right now. Like, wear a mask. It's not wear a mask, vote. And I mean, I don't know what else to tell people. It's that simple. It's a covering over your face. I hate it too, but we're all doing it.
Is it that simple? Because I think people struggle with it. I mean, and I hate to single you out again, but it seems to always be the Trump people. Just don't like it because I mean, again, no, they don't know how to wear. I think they put it. I don't know where they put a lot of things. They hang out with aliens, so you know where aliens like to probe, so they're probably put them there too. That's where their head ually goes, so it's hard to fit everything there.
Every Friday, it's just.
That's what we do here. Eric insults Republicans. That's what I'm doing. We'll go a little bit long for our first break here, but I think it's funny because I see different people walking around, and I kind of look at them for what they're wearing for when they're wearing a mask. And it's always when I'm out with like the kids and the fam, we wear our mask out. We don't like it. It's not like, yay, it's great. I mean, they're not fashion accessories. You can make the most of them, but I actually have a great one. Mantra Labs sent me a couple masks. I love how comfortable they are. I'm like, I would totally make it. I don't know why, but it's really comfortable. I'm like, I don't mind wearing this mask. I barely realize it's on. But some people are really oppose it. And I saw just yesterday one of my favorite guys to bash on. In fact, he's our jackass of the week, Ted Cruz. No. Ted Cruz. Yeah. We always have jackass of the week. And remember, recap last week was my buddy Sebastian Gorka. Ted Cruz, he refuses to wear a mask, period. So yesterday he goes in front of the media. Mind you, the GOP has been just spewing COVID all over Capitol Hill.
Everybody.
They don't care. They're like, So the reporter goes, can you put your mask on? Because they're in closed quarters inside the Capitol. Anybody who's been to D.C. knows those buildings they're not known for space.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'll stand 6 feet back. I don't have to wear a mask if I'm 6 feet back. CDC regulations say that's what I have to wear. And I'm like, they just don't care. I mean, this is the same jackass. And why he gets jackass of the week is besides not just that, this guy went off on Mark Cuban. Made up some outlandish, stupid things about LeBron James saying, why would they have the parade in LA? They should have it in China. And it's like, dude, are you that butthurt? Oh, I support the Rockets. Oh, wait a minute. You don't like I mean, number one, bashing on Cuban is dumb. Mark Cuban has done a lot for the NBA.
Mark
a
Cuban
lot
is
in general.
amazing.
He's an amazing
Mark
entrepreneur.
Cuban is an amazing human being and entrepreneur, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and I don't get why Cruz goes after him, because Cuban wants to run. We all know Cuban has it in his cards. Give the guy a couple years and he'll run. I just find it funny. So Ted Cruz, Jordan, Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz. So what's your thoughts on Cruz? I go off on these guys all the time, Monday through Thursday. I'd love your thoughts on Mr. Cruz.
Oh gosh, you know what I love most about Ted Cruz? He's just the most fun candidate or most fun individual to make fun of, and he does it to himself. In the spirit of Halloween, I love bringing up the fact that there's a whole campaign dedicated to the idea that Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer, and it makes me so happy. And maybe the reason, if we're gonna fall into conspiracies today on Jackass of the Week Friday. I think that, maybe he doesn't want to wear a mask because he spent so much time underneath that hoodie mask that he wore as a Zodiac killer. And I'm sure I'm going to get so much hate.
Yeah, that's fine. You could get it. I mean, but you're talking about people wearing hoods. I mean, don't forget about Mitch McConnell and I mean, it was such a close running for Jackass of the Week. Come on, Jordan, you know this.
It was so hard.
I mean, Lindsey Graham almost won it instantly off of his I missed the good old days of segregation line this week. I'm like, bruh, you said that your white hood is showing. In Mitch McConnell, he's become like the emperor in Star Wars, like straight up Palpatine with his like. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, just their faces just getting sulken in so much more.
He puts a black hood on just to hear. He just needs to sit there
like, hey guys, I know you're all gunning to be Jackass of the Week to the point with Eric Mitchell. I know it's a really prestigious award. You know what we should do? We should partner. It's huge. There's a company that will send you a box of bull or cow manure to your enemies, and I say, that's what we should send out to people as an award for being Jackass of the Week. And to the point
that's a good show. Most shows won't have a Jackass of the Week. We will, because that's what we do around here. We're like, who did we offend today? Hold on. But Jordan, I gotta tell you this. You'll like this story. Hold on, I promise.
I'm ready.
Okay, so I this week have had multiple Facebook messages telling me that I really don't like your opinion, Eric. Okay, thank you.
No.
Oh, yeah. And they send them to my public. They go out of their way to. They tell me they unfollow me. I'm like, oh no. They don't like my politics, and they don't like my viewpoint on sports because it sucks. Because they hate sports.
It's fake news. It's fake news, Eric. They don't like it, so it must be fake news.
Always. It's always fake news. I'm guilty of fake news. So when we come back from the break, let's talk about, before we go to the break, because we actually do have a guest here today. We do have two things happening on the show besides you and I talking. We do have a guest. So Ronnie Marmo. Now you set this up. Ronnie is an amazing human being. You know him better than I do, obviously, but Ronnie's amazing. I can't wait to have him back to talk about sports, because we had probably so I'll say this, when we were recording his interview, it was funny because Lucy was walking by the studio, my wife, for anybody playing at home who doesn't know who this Lucy person I reference, walks by and she's like, hey, she didn't know I was on. We weren't, like, the studio doors weren't shut yet, so Ronnie and I were just BSing before we went on air. The funniest thing happened. She's like, who do you think I should pick for fantasy? I was offered this trade, and all of a sudden you hear through the magic box, don't do that trade, you're getting taken advantage of. That's how Lucy met Ronnie. That's how into sports Ronnie is. So I thought it was one of those great things. Oh my God.
Yes. Ronnie Marmo is one of my favorite human beings on this planet. Ronnie Mo, the artistic director of Theater 68 and the writer of I Am Not a Comedian, I'm Lenny Bruce, which has played in LA, New York, and Chicago before quarantine hit. So he's a good dude and he loves his sports. I knew you guys were going to get along.
Oh,
I'll lose him to Eric. It's fine.
And I love the fact that he's a big Lenny Bruce. I mean, just to play Lenny Bruce. Now, everybody who really has known me, and as you guys get to know me on air, I'm a huge comedy fan. To me, there's two things in life I love: music and comedy. I love to laugh. If I'm having a bad day, you could catch me on Netflix finding a comedy special. Whether I've watched it a million times, Dave Chappelle usually does it for me, Rogan, or I'll go back in time and hit the Robin Williams, because Robin Williams to me was one of the funniest human beings alive. But when we talk about comedy, we talk about Lenny Bruce. And a lot of people's first exposure, millennial and Gen Z, and even some in my gen, in Gen X, never knew who he was until they watched The Wonderful Miss Maisel.
And Marvelous Sizzle, yep.
I mean, great series. I absolutely love it. But that's where Lenny Bruce, they're like, who's this Lenny Bruce guy? I've seen people like, who's Lenny Bruce? I'm like, oh my God, Lenny Bruce was like the first vulgar comic. Like,
oh, he was the greatest, yeah.
Crossed every line. I mean, every line. So it was great talking to Ronnie. I can't wait to do that. So folks, when we come back from break, we're going to have the amazing interview with the wonderful Ronnie Marmo, and then Jordan and I'll be back. And we got a little surprise for you as we finish out this week, and it deals with our boys at Space Force. So stay tuned, and we'll see you after the break. Back to The Point. I'm Eric Mitchell. We have a great show for you today on this wonderful Friday. And why Jordan runs to go do whatever Jordan does during these times. We don't know where Jordan goes during my interviews. It's weird. She like disappears when she's the co-host. Anyways, that's a whole different Friday story. We'll do that. It's probably a Halloween episode. We'll do where does Jordan go when Eric does these solo interviews. We don't know. But today's guest, and I'll welcome him here right now, is Ronnie Marmo. Ronnie, how are you doing today, bud?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Oh, it's great to have you on. It's always great to have talent on our show. And we always talk when we talk to entrepreneurs and business folks, we always talk about COVID-19 and how it's affected a lot of industries. Now, you are an actor, director, writer, very talented man who sits here and works between New York, and obviously from your background, you're not in New York. That would be definitely LA. So we can always tell the difference between the two. And we don't have smoke in your background, so I'm a happy former Californian. I like to see my state not looking the way it has been. But
yeah, the skies are blue. It's nice.
It's nice to have a blue sky. You guys deserve a blue sky. Yeah. I remember how it was that we went 20 days without the sun because of the smoke and the fires we got the combined from California and our own fire and Washington above us. So it was a mess. So I don't even know how you do it. So the theater industry, as we all know, was hit the hardest by the pandemic, I think, out of everything in Hollywood. As somebody who's acted on Broadway, obviously you're in LA, but I'm sure you could touch on this. How has it decimated that industry? With Broadway, with the lights out, what does that mean? I don't think people really comprehend, because a lot of people, if they don't go to New York or go check out the theater in LA, they really don't understand that even a lot of the actors and actresses they see on TV and on movies, they also started on Broadway. I mean, most of them, that's where they prefer to be, because that's truly the classic is on the Broadways. So how has it decimated that industry? I mean, and do you think it will recover?
Yeah, it's been terrible, honestly. Everywhere from the biggest Broadway houses down to 30-seat theaters and everything in between. Theater, I don't know what the situation is, if it has like a lack of importance to the rest of the world, but it's decimated it, because basically we're not allowed to come back and do theater work on any level for the foreseeable future. So it's been very disappointing. A lot of people make their living in theater on every level. A lot of celebrities even do theater, and famous actors, because that's where they keep their chops up in the theater world. And the reality is that it's just such a scary time. And I feel like theater has been left off a lot of the lists. Like, in other words, restaurants can reopen. You could get your nails done. You could do this, you could do that. But theater is not on anybody's list. It's like it hasn't been discussed or, really thought through. So it's been very disappointing in that way. And I do feel we provide a necessary service to the public.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I definitely think you guys do provide that service. Now, you are make sure I get the title right. I always mess up people's title. Thank goodness your lower third has it right, but then it's me. So you are the artistic director of Theater 68. So
yes,
that's been a big thing. Yep. Before COVID hit, you were performing in your show, and I love the title because I love comedy. I'm not a comedian. I'm Lenny Bruce. You have an amazing, director who also happens to be a writer and producer also. I mean,
Joe Mantegna.
what happened there? You were in Chicago for that, right? You were.
Joe Mantegna is my director.
Awesome.
And he's a Chicago boy. Joe's incredible. And he's a Tony winner on Broadway and everything else. I mean, but he's even a better person than a talent. You know how much talent he has. Yeah. So, but I was in Chicago doing the show. It's a one-man show. I had just completed my 85th performance in Chicago and my 305th performance overall. And on March 15th was my last matinee. And I got really nervous because there was 20 people in my 200-seat theater, and they had masks on. And I basically just went right to the airport and got on a plane and came back here and been here for 7 months, dying to get back on stage. So it's going great, but like the rest of the world, we had to stop and sit for a while.
So were you playing Lenny Bruce as a fan of comedy, and Lenny Bruce I'm sure the younger folks who are watching our show are going, Lenny Bruce, who is this? Why does Eric think he's a great comedian? Number one, he was. So, I mean, you were obviously, was it a one-man show, so you were everybody in the show, just so everybody could be clear?
Yes, it's a one-man show. It's a 90-minute monologue, and I play Lenny, but I do portray other characters as I do the show, but I play Lenny Bruce, and he was a very important comic. For the younger generation now, they probably heard of him on Mrs. Maisel.
That's true.
And so they know that. But they depict him on Maisel. He's a very colorful, fun character. And in my play, we really get to the nitty gritty of Lenny Bruce. He died at age 40 of a heroin overdose, and without him, we don't have Richard Pryor. We don't have George Carlin in the same way. He changed the face of comedy. And was very important for free speech, First Amendment, and everything. I mean, he just really changed comedy,
Yeah, that is true. Speaking of famous comics that we lost too soon, I was just watching John Belushi was on talking about his brother. And as we all know, John opened up. It's funny because he was talking about acting, but and we're going to get to this because this question kind of, look, I'm taking Belushi and tying you into it. So watch this, how we do.
That? It's going to be a great day.
Wait till you see this one. I'm tying this all in. You're going to like it. So Belushi was on, and he was talking, obviously everybody knows now that besides being the brother and a very talented actor of Mr. Belushi, Jim Belushi, John Belushi owns a cannabis farm in Oregon, which is doing quite well. And of course, he goes on Bill Maher a week ago, and Bill's like, "Are you holding?" And of course he was, so he tossed him over what he had, and they were talking about this term microdosing, and he was talking about how COVID has almost been a blessing for him because it let him focus on his farm and doing that because that's what he wanted to do. He loves acting. He's like, I'm not walking away from that. And he goes, and that was the first thing my children and wife said when I presented them, hey, we're going to own a cannabis farm in Oregon. So this nice, beautiful home you have here in Los Angeles, what you're used to, I'm moving you up to this, hundreds of acre farm in Oregon. And it's not like it's near Portland or Bend. It's in the middle of nowhere. And I'm moving you there. And I'm going to spend some of our money on this. And the wife goes, you're still acting, right? So, but he had said how COVID is doing that. Now, I have been told that you kind of have a similar feeling that COVID, as much as it's been a stress, has been a blessing for you. And I like to talk about that because we can hear all the nightmare stories of how bad COVID is. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stand in front of the White House with the backdrop behind me and go, you don't have anything to worry about. Don't keep living your life. COVID's going to be, you're okay with COVID. Because it's not true. 200 and almost 10,000 Americans, they disagree with that statement.
Don't get me started on that. Yeah. We're going to go on all day if you get me started on that.
Well, we're not going there. We're going off of, I've heard this story, and I want to hear something good. I need something good.
Sure.
So I've heard COVID has actually been a blessing in disguise for you. Share a little bit more.
In a lot of ways it has. And here's why. Some of the ways is, I travel from LA to New York to Chicago on a little cycle there. It's constant. Like every week I'm in a different city all the time, performing in Chicago, living in New York, living in Los Angeles, running 2 theater companies. And it's forced me to stop and be still. I moved into a beautiful new place in Los Angeles. My daughter's 12 years old. She'll be 13 in a month. And it forced me to be way more involved on a day-to-day basis with her, and which I love. It's tough being an artist and commuting everywhere because sometimes you can't put in the time and energy you want to. It taught me how to cook. I'm suddenly a domesticated kind of guy, and And I realized how much money I was wasting in restaurants, and now I actually can pretty much cook things for myself, which is shocking. It's just made me stop and be still and take a look at the stuff that I probably wouldn't have stopped to take a look at, and most importantly, my daughters. That's most important. So.
Well, those are important. I have two daughters myself. I couldn't agree with you more. I have boys. They're also important, but having a 16-year-old daughter, and my oldest daughter's 23, but having them both go through, one of them has already gone through her, she's 23, so she has a full-time job that she's had to deal with COVID, but I totally agree with you, and I think it's great that I asked this question and to get your response. It's very much on point with mine. I've become closer to my kids. I was always considered myself a good dad, but we travel a lot, and it's been great to kind of do this. This very show was created by my 16-year-old. She came to me with the concept. It was like, how do we do it? And now, of course, she gets the creator tag on the credits, but her production value is now she's created her own YouTube channel, and now I'm just, Dad, I gave you this idea.
I get it. I get it.
You know how they are.
I get it.
Okay, Dad, thanks.
Oh, I do. My daughter's 27, and the other one will be 13. And the 27-year-old, we're best friends. The 13 thinks I'm a moron, and I have nothing to add to the world.
Of course. And we don't know anything. They know everything.
I tell her all the time, you have no idea how cool your dad is. And she's like, you're not cool. My friend's coming over. Don't embarrass me. That's what I get all day long.
So before you go, I don't know why we're speaking of young teenagers in technology, and we will touch on this because it is entertaining to me. And it is a little bit dealing with politics, but it's just praising. Can you believe that our most reliable source for what's going on at our White House is a 15-year-old on TikTok?
It's, yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 years ago, we were like, it can't be that bad. And we're like, wow, you elect a clown, you get a circus. I mean, what else can I tell you?
Oh, well, you got a whole bunch of that. I just think it's hilarious. I was sitting here going, a 15-year-old is our deep throat of 2020, the person who's giving up information right in front of all of us. And people are like, if you're getting your information from a 15-year-old, I'm like, I think it's almost more credible than getting it from anybody else, especially if they're orange. I don't know if I can go off of that.
Social media is killing this world. I mean, we're in trouble. Hopefully, everyone please vote. Please vote.
Amen. It's good to see that. And I know people are like, oh, great. The guy in media, the sports analyst and the actor are telling me to vote. We've heard that before. And we're right. November 3rd, it's important. Wherever you live, make sure you go vote. Ronnie, we got to have you back on. There's so much that we need to talk about. You are awesome. I love talking about your guys' profession. Now, before you go, do you see yourself ramping up anytime soon? I know you live in California. So, I mean, what's next?
Well, I'm happy to say my theater company on both coasts are alive and well. We just did a one-act festival for our New York company. We did a 6-week run, and every night we presented a 10-minute one-act play live on Zoom through YouTube, and we're about to ramp up for our Los Angeles companies doing the same thing. But, yes, I mean, I'm constantly working and trying to figure out. The best way I could explain it is before television, there was radio, right? So, I mean, we just got to keep evolving, and we got to do whatever's in front of us. And we certainly shouldn't stop creating because it's changing. We should try to change with it and do the best we can,
Oh, yeah. So before you go, and I always require this. I like the way I use the word require. Tell folks how they can check out your production company, where they can view it. Is it possible to do that and learn more or support you? I know, hey, this is what our job is. Everybody needs, it's 2020. If we can help out, views, clicks, donations, whatever you need, just let us know, because our audience is awesome. We love supporting folks who are out there. That's why, we're the underdog show, I always say. Not that you're an underdog. I mean, you're amazing actor.
We all are. Listen, you're only as good as your last job. You know what I mean?
Amen.
That's all I mean. So, yeah, you could, thank you. Theater68.com. You certainly could donate to the company. That would be incredible. That's why we're doing these one-act festivals, is to raise money. We're not charging for tickets. We're just accepting donations. So certainly open to that. Theater68.com. You could go LennyBruceOnStage.com if you want to check out more about the show. And we're going to get back to it just as soon as it's safe. Ronnie Marmo on Instagram. I got the Twitter. I don't know. I suck at all that. But But you can find me. Just put my name. You'll see me there. And I'm grateful if anybody cares. So thank you.
Heck yeah. We'll make sure to check you out. Everybody, thank you very much, Ronnie, for joining us. Everybody else,
Thank you, Eric.
Jordan and I will be right back to close out the show and talk about what's going on this weekend and what you should be watching on streaming, since that's what we're all doing now, is sitting at home streaming. We can't go to movies. So stay tuned. Will be more to come after the break. And that was a great, I love that interview with Ronnie. He's funny. I mean, and he does look like Lenny Bruce. I mean, you got to give him that. I mean, good Chicago guy. I like people from Chicago. Chicago's ultra talented. Jordan, you obviously work in the arts, and Chicago with Second City. I mean, come on, look at all those folks coming out of Chicago on that. Just so many people doing incredible things out of Chicago. The acting is amazing. So, I mean, I know not to sell New York short or LA, but Chicago's
really great.
They put it on the map.
Miranda, who was on last week, who's from Chicago. Yep. There's a lot of great arts people in Chicago. It's a nice little pocket that people forget. They just think it's the Windy City, but it's got some exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's not just where the Bears and the Cubs and the Bulls play. The Bears. And the Cubs and the White Sox and the Blackhawks. If I forgot any other sports, I apologize. I did cover the NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, and the NBA. I said, oh, come on, everybody knows it. I'm an MJ fan. Come on, I know the Bulls play there. Somebody's like, the Bulls play in Chicago. I'm like, yeah, I have Michael Jordan posted.
Really? Are you sure?
Really? You sure? Michael Jordan? No, I didn't know he was a Chicago Bull.
Who's that guy?
But that's our show for today. Now, we do have a little teaser. We're going to end the show differently today. Mm-hmm. And I know Wednesday, we got to recap every guest this week like we always do, but Wednesday you saw Space Force, and Space Force showed their World War Cypher, which was their video that they put together with veteran artists throughout the globe. Well, when we're done talking here, folks, after I sign off, stay tuned because you get to see the world premiere of Space Force video. They recently got together, did all the COVID testing, and filmed one of their first videos. They filmed it in Colorado, dressed up. I mean, the boys it's an amazing video. I watched it. We're going to share it here. We'll also put the link, so we're not going to have the video where you can go watch it here. No. You'll watch it on our show right now, but if you want to give them some love and share it, we'll put the individual link to their YouTube of it, so you pump it out there, because we're not going to cut it up for you and put it here. So please promote their stuff. We're just showcasing it here. But we'll put the link in so you can share it on the road. I just want to make sure we're promoting them the right way. Go check out Space Force. That's, of course, the Marine rapper, D-Cure, and Topher Towns, three amazing veteran artists. Yeah. And I don't mean like veteran like they're senior musicians, like veterans, like they served their country. So if you missed that episode, go check it out. It was great. But Jordan, we had a good week this week. I mean, our guests were on point.
It's a good week. We had a lot of people to the point today. They were all good this week. They were on point, to the point. I really enjoyed all of it.
It's that Thursday show that's kind of sketchy, though. That guy. That guy's kind of sketchy.
That sports guy, man. I don't know about him.
What's he think wearing a hoodie? Wearing a hoodie. Like, he's like, hoodie day. I'm like, hell yeah, how many more hoodies can I wear? We're totally going to hoodie. We're going from the suit. I got to change it up.
Sweater
weather. It's sweater weather. But it was a good week. You're right. We got a good week next week. You actually know the schedule probably better than I do.
I do.
I'm back on Monday, folks. Check out. It's me Monday. I'm back talking politics. We're going to get Mr. Herman back. We just need to. Everybody's so busy with, less than 3 weeks till election. It's a crazy time. So sometimes you're actually stuck with me. I'm sorry. This is what you get.
If only it was called To the Point without Eric Mitchell, but it's To the Point with
We're going to have an episode where Jordan is the host for the whole show, and Eric's not even here.
Let's do it. I'll have a total takeover.
We'll have a total takeover.
We have a really great show for you guys coming next week. If you want to know what the schedule is, stay tuned. We will announce our guests this weekend or tonight, so it's going to come out soon, but the only way you can find out is if you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube for all our latest episodes and segmented episodes to see your favorite guests from the last few weeks.
And don't forget to check out our favorite sponsor or our network, C-Suite TV, because that's where we're at. You can check out every episode. Everything shows up there. So if you want to promote us there and check us out, go check out our friends at C-Suite. You can catch us on C-Suite wherever you stream everything. So Apple TV, Roku, Amazon. I think that's everybody who streams.
I think that's everybody.
I think that's everybody. I was like, and
Apple TV, Roku, probably iOS and Android, everywhere.
You can stream us everywhere. Go check it out. Great article, C-Suite TV, C-Suite Network, C-Suite Radio. Amazing, amazing folks over there. A lot of business. So if you're a business person, go check it out. We are interviewing top people. I say that because we're part of the network. We are interviewing amazing people. And it's good to be part of that network, Jordan. We'll talk about it briefly. It's been great being part of C-Suite because there's no control over what anything we're saying. We don't have another show that has a bitter drunk dude from Staten Island that doesn't like us, and his cronies don't like us, and they screenshot everything I say.
Nobody likes us. Nobody likes us.
Other people like us. A lot of people like us. I mean, we have
a lot of people like us. But no, to give a huge shout out to C-Suite. They've been extremely supportive since we've been on there. So thank you, C-Suite, for picking up To The Point with Eric Mitchell in September. We've been really having a wonderful time working with them. And now we get to bring our show to all of you across the globe, I think. So it's been excellent to be a part of the show. And that reminds me, one more thing, Eric, before we leave. If you would like to be a guest on To The Point with Eric Mitchell, please reach out to us on social or do something even more simple. You can go to booking at To The Point TV. That's tothepointtv.com. And one of us, probably me, will get back to you. And I would love to have you on the show. And I know Eric would love to meet all of the fans that have something exciting to say because we like to give a voice to everybody out there. So thank you.
Absolutely. That's true. Way to plug. I don't even know how to finish the show
like
now.
I'm the producer or something.
I don't know how to plug the show now. I'm like, what do I do? Oh, this is so confusing. She took all my lines. Line. That's where I feel like we're at. But folks, as we close out, lots of crazy stuff going on this weekend. Enjoy the outside. It's crazy out there. Behave. Make sure you're wearing a mask. Keep in mind the voting is coming, so pay attention to where you're voting. I always like to make sure we're talking about that. Sports-wise, I wish I could give you a solid update. I appeared earlier today on Cheddar TV talking about what's going on. There's a huge outbreak with the Patriots. They canceled camp after some folks tested positive there. Had some false positives this morning out of Indianapolis. It's a mess. We already have college football, which is struggling with an outbreak. It's going to be interesting the direction they take it, but I can tell you guys, everybody this, because this is the number one question I've been asked today. Is the NFL season in jeopardy? No, because they can continue adding weeks to the season. They have these natural weeks brought in, and they will have to do it. They won't go to a bubble, and we've seen bubble. Hey, shout out to the NBA, Major League Soccer for women, the NHL, and so far during the playoffs, MLB, for a great job being in the bubble. Zero positive tests, which says a lot. The folks that are out here in the open, I don't know what's going on. It's a mess. But if you're watching sports this weekend, make sure you pay attention because your team may or may not be playing this weekend. Lots of stuff streaming. Jordan, I do want to tell you, we did start watching The Vow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a thing. It's a thing.
It's good. You should. I mean, people should go watch it. But
good. They should go watch it. I think, right now in a time we're all trying to come together, if you're finding out mentors or a community to support you, be careful and take note, and also be there to support people. I think that's the one thing that I learned from that documentary is that you could, in a time like this when all of us are so affected, you never know who's at the top of the things that you're believing in. So do your due diligence and don't harm anybody. I think that's just a fair statement. But Nexium
people are weird.
Yeah, Nexium.
But anyways, so we'll have you back next Friday. That'll be huge. You'll be back next Friday. Great show on Thursday for sports. Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. Monday, you're stuck with me. Tuesday, we give you great guests. And we're not going to tell you who they are. We're just going to surprise you. So you got to stay tuned. Always checking out our Insta. All of our platforms will share. You'll see it tomorrow morning because tonight you'll see our thank you. So if you need to go back and follow our guests, that's all we ask of you guys for watching. Make sure you go follow each one of our guests that come on our show. Give them some love because they come on here, they take time, they want to share with you, and they want to hear what you have to say about what they're doing. We have great guests next week. Just amazing guests coming forward. Some big things in the works for you guys. So if you have any questions, please let us know. We'll love to answer them. Like Jordan said, if you want to be a guest, you can always hit us at hello@tothepoint. It's been a great week, Jordan. And we're going to leave you guys with this. We have the world premiere from Space Force of their video. So on behalf of the entire team, not just this one or this one right there, and I'm pointing the right way. I always got to do it the opposite way. I'm like, yeah, this way. Who's he pointing to? I don't know.
Who are we?
It's my multiple personalities. One's here and one's here. Hi, how you doing? We're good. It's welcome to my brain works and not enough coffee. But we have their world premiere. We are excited. So on behalf of our entire team, we thank you for tuning in this week. You make a big difference in our lives. So we thank you on behalf of Marina, who's sleeping because she's in Australia. She sends a shout out to you too from our team over in, on the other side of the world, a day ahead of us. They're already in Saturday. Lucky dogs.
They're already in the weekend.
They're already in the weekend. They're like, dude, we're here. Shut up. We're not tuning in on Friday. They tune in other days. So if you see anybody from Australia, just say good day. Just like that. They love it when Americans do that. Oh, funny story, Jordan, before we go. Last week, we had to do a correction on a promo.
Yes, we did.
Because they spelled it correctly.
Yes, they did.
You know how weird it is to say I had to fix something that was spelled correctly? You're welcome. Go figure that out. Everybody in the audience is like, what are you talking about? See, we don't speak the same English language. Ours is horrible. If you figure it out, go check it out. But again, on behalf of our team, we thank you guys. You guys are a big part of why we do the show day in and day out. We thank you for your support, your comments. We see them. We try to like them. We try to answer them as best we can everywhere and everywhere. Just make sure you continue supporting us and sharing us with your friends. So on behalf of our entire team, I'm Eric Mitchell. Be safe, be smart, be strong, and God bless America. And it is my honor and privilege to showcase my veteran brothers and the world premiere of the video from Space Force. Have a great weekend, folks.
I've been running all over through the galaxy, through the galaxy, through the galaxy. I've been roaming all over in this galaxy. It's a tragedy for the galaxy. I got nothing to say. Sergeant came down with new orders today. Said you're defective while breaking away for entertainment and leaving the whole base afraid. Discovered you work for the SS&A. Stolen some seekers and they ran away. Some of my team and I knew right away. We were the hunters and you are the prey. Hard to believe that I was sleeping with the enemy. Never occurred for me to doubt your identity. Wanted to exist in a big captivity. The one I found a message, I'm thinking about sanity. On the road, here we go like a lobo. Follow code, let it go, do what I was told. The better with it, I can take the shot. Pray I'm not the one in that spot. It's a war going on right now in my head. Fighting with all the BS you fed. Making contact is what I dread. I don't wanna see you end up dead. Maybe emotions are clouding my judgment. I don't like being bludgeoned. But tell me what trust do I have? An order's an order. In the discretion. Running all over through the galaxy. Through the galaxy. Through the galaxy. I've been searching all over in the galaxy. Don't be mad at me in the galaxy. Looking for your face in the vacuum of space. How you disappear without a choice. I've been roaming all over in this galaxy. It's a tragedy for the galaxy.
I remember when you protect. Now we out here, gotta watch you defect. Man, what happened to you? You forget. I'll never believe it, look at you, you're a vet. You used to behave and be glad. Stationed in Prague, you would be waving a flag. Both send away to a land, rifles side by side. Now you're aiming the back, off in the stars. Never coming off guard, down when I'm up. Got the heat on me like a Pop-Tart. No Aloe bar, you're not going that far. Never holding that back, and you lower that bar. I'ma need a minute before I blow my friend away. Say a couple words while I fold my hands and pray. Promise I'm a hater when I see you go to waste. Just another body floating in space. If you go against the cavalry, you'll be a casualty in the galaxy. I put you in a box like amnesty. Everyone can kind of feel the gravity. We back at the academy, but they understand it that it had to be. Yeah.
I've been running all over through the galaxy. Through the galaxy. Through the galaxy. I've been searching all over in the galaxy. Don't be mad at me in the galaxy. Looking for your face in the vacuum of space. How you disappear without a choice. I've been roaming all over in this galaxy. It's a tragedy for the galaxy. Don't even think it. I know you've been contemplating. Looking in the mirror and you wondering lately who's the best in the galaxy. A record make it. Jim on, need no confirmation. All the spaces are done invaded. All the operators, all the troopers using me to do communications. Think they died just so you could take this? Never ever, no one better do ahead of everybody. That's my posse, never said I'll give you less for anybody. Out of the country, I projected heavy metal, how I rock it. Interstellar type of fella, I ejected all of you into 3, 2, 1. Yeah, brother, another level with the weapon like the treatment on my rubber. Do
not try me, it is feudal. No survival, only silence after crying. Let me inside, catch you fluent rain. Through the space in the land galactic. Blast in your face, her apparatus. It ain't never face you, love the battle. Till you had to face me feeling trapped in. Everywhere you go in the cosmos can't escape me. Loco, cause you cannot shake me. Slow poke in your heavy spacesuit. I know that you wanna erase me, but you can't, cause you're me, I made you.
Running on over through the galaxy, through the galaxy, through the galaxy. I've been searching all over in the galaxy. Don't be mad at me in the galaxy. Looking for your face in the vacuum of space. How you disappear without a choice. I've been roaming all over in this galaxy. It's a tragedy for the galaxy. SOS.
A space cruise, where will we take you? You're not sure, turn it up and stay tuned. They do more out there than pay dues. Gotta take in a great view. We don't know about you, eh? Sometimes we jump in the ship and just cruise. We don't know about you, eh? Sometimes we just hop in the ship and we
Look who's driving. Delivery boy, really wanna chill, but still will fry you. All of you spuds, silence the snubs, the one, I've been there with my dudes. Futurama. We the people BC talking about how planetary, how we rock it. All of my lines, wrinkle in time, and yeah, I'm carrying iron. So you all press, all on my steps, and yeah, you get to the point, sit and enjoy. This is Eric Mitchell, he the host of the show, get to the point. He is the voice, we needed this, something more. This a daily show that's known for politics and the sports. Ain't no limit to whoever you may see at this point. To celebrities, Eric Key's beast in the joint. As a veteran, put him at ease, then annoy. Every conversation can never be disappointed. Whether tragic or it's happy, Eric will cover whatever's happening. Whether it be a gymnast, toe tapping, talking about nearly any athlete, not taking a back seat. You're never gonna get it past T. Everybody running from it, it's a stampede. But he's on it like this man who took that knee. Mr. Mitchell's way too crafty.
to the